it's films like Life from Baghdad that make me realise I have to start watching more war films, because war films are not my kind of thing. But usually when I watch them, certainly when I watch a decent one, they're good. And that is certainly the case here. I'll be 100% honest, I only watched it because Helena Bonham Carter's in it. And I'm so glad she is, because it's such an engaging, very powerful film. And the fact that it's, based on truth is making it all the more emotional. So this was released in 2002, directed by Mick Jackson, written by Robert Wiener, based on the book, and stars alongside HBC Michael Keaton. And the description from IMDb is as follows, and this says, CNN producer Robert Wiener, his colleague, and their crew venture to the Iraqi capital to cover the Gulf War. Going to be intense. It's the Gulf War. What I find really interesting about this is the fact that it's set from the perspective of journalists. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think I've ever seen a war film. Not that I've seen that many, but I haven't seen a war film that's not set from the perspective of the soldiers. Or perhaps from, the Blitz in London. So that was really refreshing and really fascinating. And, bearing in mind, I grew up wanting to be a journalist until I realised that my love of writing is in different areas. But it's like, this is the kind of thing that happens so frequently, and these people get themselves into such intense situations. And I think my heart never really stopped racing throughout this. I don't know that much about the Gulf War. If I were to rank my knowledge of the wars in order, it would be like most people, World War II, World War I. The Gulf War is not near the top, I'll put it that way. So I did learn quite a bit. I definitely learned quite a lot. Bearing in mind when these events are taking place, certainly I was, I was not born. I think this was set the year before I was born, at the very beginning of the 90s. So definitely don't remember this. It is intense. It is very intense. I also particularly like seeing the shift in how news is done. If this were today, which pleased it isn't, the news coverage would be a lot different. Not just because the outputs are different, the pressure to meet deadlines is different, but also because I think our attitudes to what we consume, the information we want and how we can get it, is all very different. This actually follows the true story of Robert Wiener and Ingrid Formanek when they are out there getting this information and a lot of the issues that they faced. It's intense, it's chaotic from start to finish. Every couple of minutes it seems there's a new problem. But it's so fascinating and so entertaining, and I think it's so different to have it from the perspective of the journalists. Now, I will say, as I said, if it were set from the perspective of one of the soldiers, and it was telling the same story during the same events at the same time, I may have enjoyed it, but I wouldn't have found it as unique and fascinating and as engaging. The performances are great. HBC is amazing. Michael Keaton, fantastic. David Suchet is in it. It's got a really good cast. I can't say how much like their actual counterparts, HBC and Keaton, are, but in terms of their performances on screen and together, emotive, powerful. I've heard some good things about it. As far as I'm aware, they were kind of approved performances. It's incredible. It is powerful. If you like war films, this is one you're going to have to watch because it's a completely different angle. If you like journalism, the news, anything really, watch it. I think it's one that will appeal to pretty much anybody because it's quite powerful to see the kind of dangers that the reporters get into while also knowing they have to report this information back because that's their job and the world, well, has a right to know. So it is intense. It's very intense. Give it a watch. I think it'll appeal to Certificate 15, but I think it'll appeal to pretty much everybody in one way or another. Absolutely worth a watch.